Hey, so would you like to talk a little bit more about the upcoming prehistoric documentary Surviving Earth? Because we've gotten more behind the scenes footage and I absolutely have to talk about it. Now, just for those of you who aren't aware, Surviving Earth is an upcoming 8-part documentary series that will be releasing sometime this year. I think they're shooting for June, but they don't have an exact release date yet. It also will be airing on Peacock. Now, the whole goal of the documentary is to focus on mass extinctions. You know, the way that things changed around these mass extinctions, taking a look at the animals like beforehand, during, and after the fact. Because of that, there's going to be a lot of creatures featured here. Creatures from the Paleozoic, creatures from the Mesozoic, and creatures from the Cenozoic. There's going to be a lot of amazing animals present in this, and I, for one, am truly excited for this documentary. Oh, by the way, this does have Tim Haynes attached to it, and it's being done by Impossible Pictures, the same folks who did the original Walking With series. In a lot of ways, this project feels like a return to the Walking With series, which is obviously very exciting. Now, of course, we don't have an official trailer yet, so we can't say too much about its overall quality, but I'm feeling pretty confident right now. Now that we're all caught up, let's get into the footage that they have recently released. Now, first of all, we do have some behind the scenes animation of Dimetrodon, which is already just a great start. We already knew that Dimetrodon was going to be in this documentary, given the fact that we've seen the concept art done by the amazing Gabriel Ugueto, and we've also seen like a brief shot of it eating a Diploculus. But this is the best look that we've seen of the actual CGI model, and it looks great. It looks truly great. The animation, in large part, it seems like some of the there was some inspiration taken from the way that Komodo dragons walk, as well as some modern day synapsids, like a grizzly bear right here. The synapsid influence is certainly justified given the fact that Dimetrodon is a synapsid, which means yes, it's far more closely related to mammals than it is to reptiles. It's not a reptile, despite the fact that it looks a lot like a reptile. You know, it had scales, it had a semi-sprawled stance, but it was more closely related to like us, for example. It wasn't a true mammal. It's often called a stem mammal because it's part of the group that gave rise to mammals, but it's just not a mammal, closely related to mammals. That's it. Now, the inspiration taken from animals like Komodo dragons and seemingly crocodilians is also fair because its stance is a little bit more reptilian in the fact that it's a bit more semi-sprawled, and it still does have some traits that we often think of as reptilian, despite the fact that it's not a reptile. This shot in particular is just really gorgeous. I love the way that it looks when it's walking around on this rock right here, and just look at that design. Look at the texturing in it. Every little detail looks amazing. The patterns that it sports, the head shape looks fantastic, and all of its proportions seem to match up pretty well. I also really like the colors in the sail. You got some like oranges with some yellows and seemingly some greens as well, and some really cool stripes that really break it up. I love this design so much, and I cannot wait to see it moving around a little bit more on my screen. That is just going to be like a huge highlight for me. Oh yeah, and it looks like they took some inspiration from the way that the Rexy or the Roberta animatronic would roar at the screen. That's just fun. I think that's fun that they did that. So yeah, again, that is a great start to the footage that we have been getting, but a couple days after that, like today, as of recording, I don't know if I'm getting this out today, but I guess you'll find out, they did release some more behind the scenes footage of some more creatures, this time some Triassic creatures. One of those being Saurosuchus, another one being Ishigualastia, and another one being a dinosaur. Now, at first, I thought that this was Eoraptor, which is a basal sauropodomorph. But then I looked at the comments, and some other folks did ask Impossible Pictures what creature this is, and they seem to confirm that this is Pamphagia, which is another sauropodomorph, just like Eoraptor. But we'll talk about that a little bit more as the video progresses. First, let's take a look at the Saurosuchus. Now, it is very cool to see a Pseudotsuchi in here. You know, it's really great to see like the relatives of modern day crocodilians present, especially since they might be getting a little bit more of the spotlight here. Now, its design looks really good too. Just look at the texturing in those scales. It looks so realistic. I love the ridge that it has above its eye, and all of its proportions just look really metal. The coloration seems to be inspired from modern day crocodiles, which is fair. They are part of the same branch of Archosauria, that being Pseudotsuchia, So taking some inspiration from that, like modern day animals like that, is incredibly fair. I love the lips that it has too, and its posture just looks really good. It's going to be so cool to see them in a modern documentary, you know, most likely acting as like the primary predator or the top predator in the given area, given the fact that this is in the Triassic period. Yeah, just what else can I say? I'm really liking this design. It is a great design. Now, another creature that we saw featured, we've actually seen this creature featured quite a bit in a lot of their teaser images and teaser footage. That is Ishigualastia. Ishigualastia is a Dicynodont therapsid, which is similar to Dimetrodon. It's more closely related to mammals than it is to reptiles. Not quite a mammal itself, but more closely related to us than that. You can call it a stem mammal once again. Now we have a shot of one just like breaking through the egg. Now the way that they did this is the egg is practical, but they had like a tiny little blue Ishigualastia hatchling that they used to push through the egg so that you get the actual breakage. And then they replaced that with a CGI model. So as a result, it looks very realistic, and it's really showing the amount of work that they're putting into this documentary, the fact that they're just doing, you know, small practical things like that just to help ground it. There is also some footage of it like kind of tumbling off of a ledge, rolling around, very cute. It reminds me of the way that you sometimes see baby elephants and baby rhinos kind of flop around all the time. And as you can see in this shot right here, they did use modern day baby elephants and baby rhinos as analogs to get those animations, which is a good idea. I love that they did that. In the text, in the description of the video, it seems that they also used baby hippos for that as well. So it's very cute. I think that this little baby Ishigualastia is going to be a highlight of the documentary, especially with how much they've been showing it off. You know, we've seen so much of these guys so far. But then in the final shot, it seems that we do have a dinosaur. Again, I thought that this was potentially Eoraptor at first, but that doesn't seem like it's the case. Instead, it is another basal sauropod known as Pamphagia, which is cool. It's a little bit lesser known. It would have been cool to see Eoraptor, but you know, it's always really cool to see other creatures showcased like that. Now, I really like its design here too. I like the small amounts of feathers. It's very possible that early Dinosauria had feathers, and as a result, later dinosaurs carried that trait up until, like, you know, today, where you have birds. Every single dinosaur that exists today has feathers. Of course, they're all theropods, but I digress. So now, yeah, even though this guy does look like a theropod, it is not. It is more closely related to like Argentinosaurus or to Diplodocus or Brontosaurus than it is to any theropod dinosaur, which is just so cool. It just shows how different this group was in the earlier days, you know, sort of sauropodomorpha. So it seems like it's trying to hunt the little baby Ishigualastia. I hope it's not successful, because I don't want to see that. I don't think anyone wants to see that. I love this guy already. Like, I don't want to see it get eaten. That would just be bad. It'd be very, very bad. But no, I really like their designs here, and this CGI is really looking realistic. Like, it looks pretty good. Pretty darn good, if I do say so. So yeah, that is some of the footage that we have gotten. Pretty short amount of time in between like the Dimetrodon footage and today's footage. It's happening a little bit quicker now. I hope that means that we're getting closer to a trailer or something like that, because I would love a trailer to sink my teeth into. Maybe they're planning on releasing the trailer after the release of Netflix's The Dinosaurs, which might be a good idea. That way the trailer doesn't get outshined by another documentary or something. I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe we can expect to see a trailer here pretty soon. Again, the documentary is planned to release this year. And I've seen them respond to some comments. I think that they're trying for June. We just don't know for sure yet. But keep your eyes peeled, guys. Definitely do not sleep on this documentary. Like, absolutely do not. I feel like this documentary is going to be special. I hope I'm right on that. But from everything I've seen so far, the amount of work that they put into this documentary, the amount of passion that it seems they have so far, I have a good feeling about it. I really hope that I'm correct, but I really do have a good feeling about it. Anyway, that is pretty much all I have for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and have an awesome day.